Good morning. Hello. Happy halfway through the week. I just realized I forgot to update the title to include that it's a short stream today. So I will do that now. Esitsu, hello, good morning. Oh, and of course, so Zilby joined me because I brought some food down here, and as soon as he finished that, he decided to skedaddle on out. So, I guess no cat cam, at least for a while. Zilby, come on over here. So I figured out what's going on with Ranger in this window here. Apparently, if I open it up, it starts at the root directory unless I hand it a directory where I am. So I wonder if I could probably make a change to that. I think there's some changes I want to make to this. I want to add I think a terminal to the right of here and check. So I have a little bit of something I can do there. Or I could put a terminal like down here. Oh, maybe I split this in half. Give myself a terminal on. Yeah, let's see how I feel about that. If I split that in half, we get ourselves a little terminal. We have a run, and we have our actual code here. And I could probably make this a little bit less wide, and just run in here. But we are on. I believe we're continuing to write the methods. No, the router method, the router queries. So I think we just finished the book author. Right, and we're in the middle of book queries. Stephen, hello. Why do I wake up so early? You're in the US time zones, right? Yeah, you're in Denver. I wake up early so that I could do this stream and this work before work. And I started waking up at 5, which gave me an extra hour of doing stream/work. So that's why. Yeah, being productive, because I've learned that I won't be able to do this after work, which is why you don't really see me stream after work. And the streams that I have done in the past that are after work either have to be creative, fun, or just games, things like that. But oftentimes don't happen. Also, good morning. How are you doing today? Essentially, you're the opposite. Your productivity ramps up through the day and you work best at midnight. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I am dead at night. I can't do anything at all. And I've noticed that I have trouble reading, in fact. Like the words start swimming around for me. They get really fuzzy. That seems to be because I need like a certain amount of concentration to be able to actually read the symbols and like translate them into what they actually are. Oh, Steven, you're struggling with Golang right now. Is it? Are you learning that for work? Yeah, I know one person who uses Golang, or at least used to use. I'm not sure if he still does at work. He got pretty good at it. Danaka, hello. Good morning. We've almost got everybody that we were chatting about a fun return to PHP days on Discord. We were a discussion that started last night about how we've been moving away from front end rendering back to back end rendering, which is the good old days of PHP. Except now we have frameworks. Because if anybody wants to go back to PHP, that's fun. Oh, you're doing Go at work. Okay, well now I know two people. Return you want out of PHP? I was using PHP at my day job, and we have sunsetted that server. It still has to run because it has some APIs that are essential, but nobody's allowed to log in. Like, I've turned off all of that abilities, which is so nice feeling. But I remember back in my sysadmin days, I wrote some PHP code, but that was before frameworks were like a big thing. So that was PHP 4. I don't think it was 3. I think it was 4. And just writing all of the JavaScript and the HTML and the PHP all together in one big jumbled mess in a single file, because that's what you're supposed to do. It says you take modern PHP over JavaScript, though. I don't know. I like JavaScript's keeping pace with PHP with feature-wise. PHP is still stealing from JavaScript, and there's a lot for it to work on. Although it is true, PHP and JavaScript do have a limited number of data structures to be able to use. At the very least, with JavaScript, you can pretend that you have more than one. Scott, hello. Oh, Togglebit was super stressed. I see his messages that he starts streaming, and it's always done by the time I wake up, or at least by the time I'm like able to like take a look at what's going on. Hopefully he's okay. I see him in his Discord a lot, so I figured that if it was really bad, he wouldn't even be there. He jumped out very early today. Okay. Well, I hope he's okay. All right. Get all books. So I want to get all the books with all the authors. Oh, hey. Hello there. Oh, it was more like this in the past, where he's just annoyed and goes to ranting mode. I don't know if I've ever seen any of his famous rants. But then again, I'm not usually awake at the time that he streams. Sylvie, hi, you okay? He was running back and forth because I opened the windows upstairs. And so I heard him running back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, which makes me think that there might have been a like a squirrel or a bird or something outside, and he was trying to figure out how to get at it. What time zone am I in? I'm in Mountain Time Zone, which is GMT -6, maybe -7. Not. It changes depending upon the time of year. We're in Daylight Standard Time right now, I think. I'm in Denver, Colorado, so close. Okay. It's a good guess because I do wake up early enough a morning that like I could probably interface and chat with people in the UK pretty easily. But then I would keep on staying up until it's like an absurdly late time for everybody over there. How many the UK is really like how many time zones are in the UK? Is there's got to be at least three, right? I'm guessing. I don't know my geography, especially with what is it called? Time zones. Oh, that's very much opposite side of the planet. So is that close to, that's very late at night now, right? It's like what, 8 p.m. or so? Currently, let's see, 2110, that'd be 8, 10 p.m. Wait, no, 10. So it's 12, 11, 10, 9 p.m. Man, I can't do subtraction today. 9 p.m. Okay. Yes, that's a decent ways off. I've never been to Japan though. I've never been to I haven't traveled very much outside of the United States. Been to like the Caribbean, and that's like pretty much it when it comes to outside. And I would love to go traveling around that area. Also Europe too. I think there's a lot of interesting things to see over there. Why are you upset? Oh right, I need to hand you the our author entity. That does explain it. I have noticed a few times, Tanaka, you and Toggle chatting about potentially doing a co-stream. And the lag is really bad. That makes sense too. Do I already have the into for this? I may have the into. Oh, it'd be nice if I could do that. I guess I have to iterate through this. Okay, hold on. I have to iterate through this and then do an into on each one. Oh, and I probably don't want to into iter. Probably just do an iter. Which you're okay with. Oh, then I need to collect you. And yeah, you're happy. You do. I apparently wrote all that code already, so that's nice. I need an update book. One of the most common functions that you call is map error into. Oh, I should try. I wonder if I could do into on. I'm trying to think of like how I could do that here, but I would need a special. Oh, I could probably do like a this error, and then have that turn into a result type. Then I could do an into for that. Ooh, that could be interesting. Well, or at least I'll keep that in mind, Scott. Probably like I haven't really traveled ever since like I actually started getting people that I know out in like outside of, the United States. So if I ever travel, I'll mention in Discord that I'm traveling, and can do some meetups if anybody is there. Just have to return the last function called directly with the implicit return. Yes. Use that map error a lot so you don't have to put something in the local variable and then return OK value. Oh yeah, which that does make sense. Oh right, what was I doing here? I was gonna go to book and copy, basically just copy this. So I don't need the ID, I want all of these. Okay, and then this one I want to an update book. I want to create this from the other one. So impl from book for update book. The mountains there are a lot less impressive than where I live. The mountains here, unfortunately, I don't get to see them that often because the air quality is so bad recently. I can see them clearly every once in a while, but like for example, this morning we're super lucky. This morning we're at a 22 on AQI, but there's been a few air quality index. There's been a few times in the last week or so that it's been over 100, especially at night, which is really unfortunate. Tanaka, lots of let else. I know. I've been really liking this pattern now. It's super short, so I can just extract out like the objects, and then I can just return an error directly here. So it is an early return pattern, but I kind of feel that it's nice in this way. So I can say like, okay, all the errors happen up here, and I use this as a guard essentially. And what's really nice about this pattern, and this is something I'm still experimenting with the mega type and then the subtypes for passing around internally, is this becomes essentially my validation too. Okay, I've got all this stuff in. If I don't have the thing, this can be the validation code, and I can return the appropriate error. Now, I don't think I'm returning the right type of error yet. I think that's something to do eventually. If I use an implicit return, when you make Clippy mad, I don't think so. I don't think so. Mike the Machine, hello, good morning. Welcome, welcome. What IDE is this? So I guess like all together, this is a CLI IDE. It's more of like a text editor that I've turned into a more IDE. So I'm using Alacrity as the terminal. I'm using Zellige as the multiplexer / window manager in the terminal. So that gives me all the windows. And then I'm using Helix as the editor itself. And then you notice this says Ranger up here. I should probably change the name of this tab to be like code or something. I'm using Ranger here. If I quit out, Ranger is this. It gives me the ability like a tree that I can navigate through. And then I was like, okay, I want to edit this. I just go into it and it opens up Helix for me. So hopefully that answers the question. You probably use map plus question mark to early return there. Yeah, I could. I guess like it can't just be a true map plus the question mark. I would need to do like an okay or else and then a map. Wait, can I just do, oh, it'd be an okay or else, I think. Yeah, we'll get you some links. There we go. I should probably like create some chat commands for this. So we have Alacrity, which I think is Mac only. No, it's available on everything. So there's Alacrity. That's what I'm using for terminal. Then that's the wrong. Really hard to find a terminal that just works as you want it. I know it's tough. Scott, you're using NNN over Ranger. Oh, I'll have to take a look at that. So let's see. Then we're using Zellige for my terminal workspace, which I would imagine, yeah, this is available on Linux and Mac. So if you're using it on Windows, you'll probably need to install it via the, what is it called? Windows Subsystem for Linux. And then finally, Helix. Asitsu, you're using a built-in macOS terminal. Am I a real developer? Of course you are. You just are a real developer without as many features as some of the other developers. All of those tools are really cool and nice, and they're all in beta. So just a heads up. Especially Helix is still missing things like plugins. There's no tree. There's no tree yet, which is the reason why I have to use a tree. I have to use Ranger here. Although we can take a look at NNN to take a look at it. I could use Tmux, but it's definitely harder to learn than Zellage. I used to use, back in the old days, I used Screen. And so using Tmux was actually really easy after using Screen because it was essentially modeled after the same exact thing. And then, but I would always like install stuff into that, like install plugins and mods, and then eventually found Zellage. I'm like, we're just gonna do with this. You say that, Danaka, and most people I know have turned Vim into a full-blown IDE, just like VS Code with a multi-thousand line configuration files. Like to the point when we taught students Vim, we had a minimum course where we had to teach them how to use Vim at a very minimum for when they see SSH into servers. But then after that, we had an optional course where it's like, hey, do you want to actually use Vim for real? And I remember it's like showing them different, like by the end of it, the students who did decide, okay, I'm gonna go with this, you can't use somebody else's Vim, pretty much. Like, it's just impossible. Everybody customizes it so heavily. Like with somebody else's VS Code, most likely I can use somebody else's VS Code. Probably not with Vim. Do you use VS Code with like a Vim mode? I've tried it before. It wasn't very good. Maybe I'm just too hard code Vim for what it was. Like it kept on like messing up when it wanted to go like into insert mode and other stuff, and I really didn't feel like customizing it, because if I'm gonna customize Vim mode in VS Code, I might as well just customize Vim. And so then I just wouldn't use it at all. Most of the time are limited plugins, JSON or XML config. Yeah, that's true. You're running Lunar Vim, which is almost a VS Code. You're thinking about stripping it back down. That's what happens too a lot of times, is like we build it up and then it's like, oh, now it's really slow. It's like a lot of stuff where you forget what all the keyboard commands are and then just random stuff starts happening. And so it's like, okay, time to pare this down. I did that with a VS Code too. It's like every once in a while I just go through and delete all of the extensions. You're really slow at learning new keybinds. Question, because it strangely for me, it works pretty well, and I'm decently fine at learning new keybinds, which is really weird. Because I'm also dyslexic, and I would have thought that wouldn't have been fine. For me, however, I have the history of like game playing, and I just sort of have the same mental model of like, oh, a keyboard is just a really flat controller with lots of buttons. And so I just sort of imagine it's like that. Hardrim, hello, good morning. How do I debug my program? I use a variety of things. Even when I had like VS Code and I had set it up for debugging, which apparently I can set up in Helix too for step through and all that stuff. I never did that. I always use, I use a combination of things. So I use tests. So sometimes I use test-driven development, where I like truly write the test, then write the code. I often run after a very small period of code written, so I know where the code is, and debug. The debug statement is a lot of times what I use. It's like a combination of programming practices and just logging. That's pretty much it. All right, Tanaka, have a great night, and we'll see you online later. All right, so I've got my update book. I want to find the book first. So, oh, we can get the book by ID. So I can actually also do, I want an ID of an I-32, and then I want the book. So we're gonna find you first. So this is gonna be an option. So I want let some. This is gonna be the DB book. We'll just get one. So we'll question mark you, and then otherwise, we'll do this pattern where return an error. And the error is going to be the... What did I call this? Oh, actually, no. We decided this isn't an error. I return okay, and I just pretend everything happened just fine, so you can't tell. Okay, so you're upset. But yeah, find my ID. I have to pass it the ID, don't I? Okay, so that gives me the DB book, and we've got that. I want to convert that into an active model. Which then needs to be mutable. Then we can start setting things on it. So like DB book dot. Okay, so name. Not some. I want this to be set. Okay, so I set all the things. DB book. Okay, so we've done name, price, in stock. And I think those are the things that we care about. I didn't see anything else. Those are the 4 fields. Okay, so I do those, and then I want to save it, and then that's pretty much it. So DB book. We're gonna save you, path in the database. We'll wait and question mark you. And then if you work, we'll return okay. All right, so that's update book. And finally, delete book. You know, I didn't ask. Hardrim, did that answer your question? Was there other ways that you prefer to debug? I've done the debugging with like step through of code using the debugger engine in VS Code, and it was okay, but I found that I don't really need it that often. I think that the compiler hits enough of the problems for me, and at runtime, it's like I get almost exactly what I need out of the debug statements that I don't necessarily need to step through very often. So I just don't even bother setting it up. Use nvim dap and nvim dap UI. Okay. Is that for the decentralized application development in nvim? I've never built decentralized applications, so I have no knowledge of them or how to debug them. Just realized I might be able to get Zilby space if I come over here. Oh, kind of, almost. Oh, wire. All in one. Install debuggers and configure it. It'll work. Okay. Oh, nice. Of course, I'm using Helix now, so it doesn't. I don't get that. Although theoretically, so I noticed that I can do in debug mode. Like there's the entire step in, step out, launch debug target. I could theoretically do that. We can try it sometime. That'd be interesting. I could potentially get rid of this window if I run everything in here. Yeah, it seems to. I've not tried it though. Let's write this, then we'll have like a few minutes left. We can try it before the stream ends. So, all right. So debug delete book. So same exact thing. I want to do a find. So we'll do let. Book. So in this case, it could just be the book. Find by ID, pass the ID, get 1. Okay, you're good to go there. And then I'm just going to do a book.delete. I don't even have to turn it into an active model. And that's it. That's delete book. Okay, you tried the debug feature, but it crashed. Oh, that's too bad. You love Helix, but the Cocoon key binding methodology is not for you, unfortunately. I've been getting used to it. I'm getting more used to it recently. There's I keep on pressing some keys wrong, but for the most part, everything's fine. And I think those are the keys that I kept on pressing wrong in Vim anyways. So I think I'm fine there now. Have I tried to create FM TUI? It's kind of a like Midnight Commander. No, I haven't. Your brain muscle is fighting with you. That happens. That one's just practice. I have in the past, I think something that helped out really well. I changed, how many years ago? It was in 2014, 2015. I changed my keyboard layout. I went from QWERTY to Colmac. And that, I think doing that and just like working on that every day made it so that now I can just change like all sorts of keys and layouts. And like my brain is like, oh, well, you did some big one. So how This is small compared to that. All right, so everything is wrong and horrible and not working. So that's fun. Let's create a new app. I guess let me get commit and all that stuff. So what have you? We are rewrote book queries. So all the queries are rewritten now. We'll go ahead and... Oh, I never pushed this yesterday? Ooh, okay. Okay, so I'll do that now. That's up there, so I can't lose that. Let's go take a look at this. So if I head down to... Let's go to Playgrounds. And I want to... Let's get latest version of Rust. I made that decision for the keyboard layout to help my fingers, because I noticed that with QWERTY, I was getting pain in my hand from typing too much and stretching my hand across the keyboard more often. I didn't want to go all the way to Dvorak programming. I wanted it to be something I can use like all the time and really easily, and not just sort of different. And so the Comac was a good sort of like in between, where the home row has changed subtly to make it so I don't stretch quite as often, which is really nice for my hands. So that's a lot better. So that's the reason. Rizkasobi, I have no idea how to pronounce your username. Also, hello. They're not Tmux panels. These are Zellige panels. So I'm using Zellige as a Windows manager. If you changed your keyboard layout, you probably never get used to it. Yeah, I can see that as a fear. It was surprisingly fast. I think it was less than a month. Oh, Zilby's ear hair is starting to get really long again. When that happens, his hair tends to curl inwards on him and touches his own ear, and he starts like flicking his ears and shaking his head because he constantly feels that something is touching it, which is not fun. So every once in a while I go in and like I trim it out for him. Thank you, Haradrim. You never been much of a keyboards binding person. You have two keyboards in front of you, a wireless one from Apple and the cheapest one from Microsoft. I have two keyboards. Both of them are, I have one Logitech that I use on the Windows, and that's like up above on top of the desk. And then I have a split mechanical Kinesis Freestyle Pro that I use for like actual programming. So that way my shoulders can be more less like scrunched in, more wide open. All right, so let's test Helix debug. Let's open you up here. So let's we'll open up main. Let's create a function here. So let's do a function like add it. We'll have A, which is an I32, and B, which is an I32. Return an I32. A plus B. Okay, so if I want to let A equals 5, 10, C equals add A, B, So if I just want to do that and I want to see what this is. So instead of like debug, so okay, so what I would love to be able to do, I wonder if it's not going to actually run through. Oh, if I'm in debug mode, it shouldn't compile this out. It should actually keep this in here. And so if I want to do a debugger, let's, okay, debugger, nope. I want to debug breakpoint. Oh, okay. So I get that little white dot there. And then I want to debug, launch debug target. Okay. Binary terminal. I have no idea which one. Binary? Oh, I have to compile it. Oh, and thank you, Horadrim, for the nice cat. Technically, you have 4 keyboards, one on the laptop and an old Razer Nostromo for games. Ah, okay. Yeah, I guess technically I have 3. I have the notebook keyboard too. But when I have it plugged into the monitor for streaming like this, I never use it. Scott, you endorsed the Epo Maker Fecker Alice 80. Nice. Yeah, Sitsu, you're starting to sound like a sysadmin with all the old keyboards and keeping them around. I broke that habit. I got rid of lots of them. Can I have it compile and run here? Let's see. So launch debug target, restart debugging session, toggle breakpoint, continue program execution, pause program execution, step in, step out, step next, list variables, end debug session, edit breakpoint condition. Interesting. Switch. Okay, so that won't work. Can I get you to... Okay, so I want to compile. Run. Okay, so I could do run shell command. Okay, so that's run. So I could do run shell command. Cargo, I guess run. Oh, no, I do cargo build. Command succeeded. Okay, so now I want to do launch debug target, binary. Oh no. Huh. Oh, okay. It didn't have it in the list of target there because I think it's in my .gitignore. But okay, so I can still write it in there and it finds it. So that, then I want to go to test healess debug. So this one. Cannot find the binary path. Huh. Do I have to, let's try removing my .gitignore. Try this again. Okay, so binary. I want target. Debug. That. Oh, cannot find binary path. Okay, so that is the binary, right? I want to run target. I guess let's add in like a debug statement, like a print line. So we'll do A plus C, A plus C plus B equals C. All right, so we'll do a cargo build. And we run that, and we get the output. Okay, so then I want to come back to here. Launch debug target binary. And use target debug. Cannot find that. Aren't I giving it that? Target debug slash? Guess I tried. Let me try it with like dot slash. So target debug. No. Okay. I mean that is coming from the project root. Okay, let's try this with binary terminal. Whatever that means. I don't really see how this is any different. So target debug. Yeah, I'm not seeing that running. Is there something in the Helix? Oh, did they not even have a guide for this? What is this? This is, yeah, the debug mode. Current working directory is pointing to some other directory. Oh yeah, I guess so. Here, okay, let's try this. Let's do launch binary. And if I do that code, playground, test helix debug, target debug. Yeah, cannot find binary path. Okay, cool. No. Stop. Code. Playground. Yeah, I just cannot do that. Maybe not. Let's try that. Is it a space? I need a space here. Nope, not that. It's like helix. Oh, it's just health. Like that, and then I want rest. Oh, okay. So I need to do this. See if Brew knows about that. It doesn't know about that one. Where do I go install that? The LLVM? They're suggesting installing it through Xcode, which I have the developer tools, but I wonder if there's something else beyond the normal developer tools. Maybe. Let's take a look at this. I need to head off in about 5 minutes though, so. Brew install LLVM and create a symlink from the brew prefix to opt LLVM bin VS Code to brew prefix bin. Okay. Well, that's a fun command. Sure, let's do this. What's the chance that this will finish in 5 minutes or less? Not at all, because it fails. Okay, hold on. Let me. Oh, I wonder if I need to. Open up a normal terminal. Gonna switch to my other user. Maybe that can do this. Oh yeah, my other user has write access to that file. That's it. Okay, so here's the LLVM 1606. Okay, so I could also just get this and install it locally. This might just work though. The question is how long it takes to install. Okay, so it's now installing LLVM in Homebrew. Okay, that's done. Okay, so binary installed. Let's quit and restart. So, oh yeah, I took out the git ignore, so it now is aware of everything. All right, so let's do. First, we'll do debug, launch debug target, binary. So I want target, debug. Interesting, okay. Terminated debugging session to disconnected debugger. Okay. So probably because this doesn't actually do anything here. So if I put a breakpoint, let's put a breakpoint in here. So what is that? Debug breakpoint there. Oh, I can do restart. Oh. Man, so I have to tell it every time where to find it? That kind of sucks. Okay, so I'm in the breakpoint. Okay, so I'm stopped executing there. So then I want to step to next. So go to next. How do I see what this is? I want to see A here. List variables. Okay, so I have locals A. Oh, nice. Okay, so interesting. It sees B as an int is 1, but it's uninitialized yet because it hasn't run. That's interesting. So then if I next, step to next, let's look at variables. Okay, now we see A is 5, B is 10. Well, I didn't think I would need a breakpoint. I just want to step and then C here. It's like, okay. Yeah, okay. Now things are working. So now I can see C is 15 after running that. All right, cool. And then next. And then done. And what? Apparently after it's done, it gives me this. Just that's fun. And this is why I use the NVim DAP UI. Interesting. Okay. I mean, so technically this works. I can add in these breakpoints, and we can run this. So if I come back to here and I quit out of that server. Nope, I want you. Let's see. You're not. Oh, this isn't gonna work because it doesn't compile. It needs to be compilable to like start actually running, doesn't it? Which is why that's why I use the DAP UI, and that's also why I use printline. Yeah, so like we have this in we have it, so we can play around with it, definitely. Again, like I don't really use it too much. I use it a lot more on a front end in JavaScript, ironically, than I use it on back end type stuff. But it has saved me in the past when I was using like JavaScript Express apps, and I was trying to sort of like figure out what's going on with that. So maybe this will help out a bunch while we're building these. So I don't know. We'll play around with it. But that being said, and that being all set up, let's go ahead and spin ourselves down. I've uploaded our code. We got all that working. If you are on a Mac and you want to set this up yourself, this command did work for me. So I'll go ahead and put a link to this discussion here. And so just make sure that you have like Brew updated recently, so it grabs the latest LLVM information, and make sure that you are the user that installed and set up Homebrew. Apparently, if you're just another user that has access to Homebrew, that won't work because you won't have write access to the brew prefix. So that's the thing. All right, and with that, I'm gonna go and head off to my day job. I'm actually going into the office today, which is why it has to be a shorter stream. And tomorrow, so Thursdays and Fridays, I don't go into the office. I only go into the office one day a week unless there's something else going on and I, absolutely have to. which means I get the full time. So we'll be here. I'll start around 6 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow, and we'll go until around 8:30, 8:45 or so Mountain Time tomorrow. So that's like 2.5 hours or so. It's nice. So with that, have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I will see you next time. Bye.